Welcome to our channel, where history, rarity, and value come together in the smallest of coins. Today, we're shining a spotlight on some of the most valuable one-dime coins in the USA, pieces that might be hiding in your pocket. Stick around as we explore what makes these tiny coins so incredibly valuable. Let's get started with our first coin of today's video. And trust me, you're going to want to check your pockets after this one. It's small, it's shiny, and at first glance, it might look like just another piece of loose change. But this little coin, it could be worth way more than 10 cents. We're talking about the 2015 Roosevelt dime. You've probably seen dozens like it, maybe even spent one without thinking twice. But here's the thing, not all dimes are created equal. Some of them, like this one, have a story, a hidden detail, or a rare feature that can take their value from face change to collector's treasure. Now before we go deeper, let's paint the picture. It's 2015. The world's moving fast, smartphones in every hand, the digital age in full swing, but here's the US Mint, still quietly producing coins, millions of them, day in and day out. Among the piles of pennies, nickels, quarters, and dollars, the Roosevelt dime continues to roll off the presses, a coin that's been in circulation since 1946, named after one of the most iconic presidents in U.S. history, Franklin D. Roosevelt. His face has graced the dime for decades. But what makes the 2015 version from the Philadelphia Mint so interesting? Well, first, let's talk design. It's classic. On the obverse, you've got Roosevelt's left-facing profile, strong, determined, dignified. Surrounding him, the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and the date. Flip it over, and there's the torch in the center, flanked by an olive branch on one side and an oak branch on the other. Peace, strength, and liberty, the core of what this coin represents. But here's where it gets good. Even though this coin looks like any other dime you'd find in your pocket, there are versions of the 2015 Roosevelt dime out there that are extremely collectible. Why? A few reasons. 1. Condition. If a dime was pulled from circulation early, never touched, never scratched, and kept in pristine shape, we're talking mint state, then it could catch the eye of a serious collector. The better the condition, the better the value. Some examples in near-perfect condition have turned out to be incredibly valuable. Then there are the errors. Every so often, a coin comes off the press with a mistake. It could be a doubled image, a missing detail, a misaligned strike, or even a planchet issue. These aren't supposed to happen, but when they do, they create a rarity. And in the coin world, rarity equals demand. These accidental pieces of art, these happy little minting mistakes, can turn an ordinary dime into something worth thousands. And yes, that includes some 2015 Roosevelt dimes. And what makes this coin even trickier is how ordinary it looks. That's right, this dime hides in plain sight. It doesn't shout for attention. There's no shiny gold, no oversized features, no commemorative lettering. It's just a dime. And that's exactly why so many of these valuable ones slip by unnoticed. Someone finds one in a drawer or a coin roll, shrugs, and spends it on a pack of gum. They'll never know they just let go of a small fortune. So if you've got a 2015 dime with the little P mint mark, the one that tells you it came from Philadelphia, take a closer look. Not every 2015 Roosevelt dime is special, but some of them absolutely are. And until you examine yours closely, under good lighting, maybe even under magnification, you'll never really know. Let's not forget, it's not just about what's visible. Sometimes it's about what you don't see. Are the edges sharp? Are the details crisp? Does the surface have that original mint luster? Are there unusual markings, subtle doubling, or faint die cracks? These are the kinds of things coin collectors and experts look for when determining whether a dime is just a dime, or a hidden gem. And here's something important to keep in mind, not all valuable coins look strange. Not all errors are obvious. Some of the most valuable 2015 dimes ever found looked completely normal to the untrained eye. It's only when you know what to look for that you realize you've got something rare. So the next time you're about to toss a dime into a vending machine or drop one into a tip jar, pause for a second. If it's a 2015 P, give it a once-over. It might just be one of the few that slipped through the cracks, a perfectly struck coin, or one with an overlooked error, quietly sitting in your pocket. Of course, not every dime will be worth a fortune. That's the game of numismatics, the thrill of the hunt. But when it comes to the 2015 P Roosevelt dime, the odds are just tempting enough to make it worth your time. After all, it costs nothing to check, and the reward could be far more than just a few cents. So as we kick off today's coin hunt, remember this: sometimes the most valuable coins aren't the ones that look flashy or rare. Sometimes, it's the coin you've had sitting in a jar, in your car console, or jingling around in your change cup. Keep your eyes open, especially for this one. And hey, if you've got a 2015 P Roosevelt dime lying around, don't spend it just yet. Take a moment. Look closely. Because if it's in amazing shape, or if it has a small error, it might just be the kind of coin collectors are willing to pay serious money for. Alright, that was our first coin of the day. Let's see what else might be hiding in plain sight. Let's keep the momentum going, because the second coin we're featuring today is not only mysterious, it's the kind of discovery that turns an ordinary person into a lucky collector overnight. Now, picture this: you're sorting through some loose change, maybe rolling coins for the bank, or counting quarters for a vending machine. You're not thinking about rare coins, or hidden treasures. You're just passing time. And then you spot a dime. It's small, worn like the rest, has the usual Roosevelt profile, and the P mint mark just above the date, showing it was minted in Philadelphia. Nothing unusual so far, right? But something about it feels different. Maybe it looks slightly off. Maybe it sounds different when dropped on the table. Lighter, perhaps. Thinner. Something your eyes can't quite place, but your instincts pick up on. Well, that small detail, that gut feeling, it might be the difference between a coin worth 10 cents, and one that could change your life. Because in 2004, at the Philadelphia Mint, a highly unusual error occurred, one that would create one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered. Here's what happened: the US Mint isn't just busy producing coins for American currency. It also manufactures coins for foreign countries under contract. That means multiple planchets, coin blanks, of different sizes, metals, and specifications are often moving through the same production floor. In this particular case, a foreign coin blank mistakenly entered the production line for US dimes. So when the die came down, it struck the Roosevelt design, but not onto a proper dime planchet. Instead, it struck the image onto a foreign blank, a completely different metal, possibly a different thickness or weight, and absolutely not meant for US circulation. Most of these types of minting mistakes are caught early, pulled from the line, and destroyed, but this one, it got away. The result was a Roosevelt dime that looked pretty normal on the surface, but was fundamentally different, a true error coin, and one of the rarest types, a wrong planchet error. Now, let's talk about what that means. Most error coins are relatively minor, things like small die cracks, off-center strikes, doubling, or missing elements. Those are interesting and sometimes valuable. But a planchet error, especially one involving a completely different country's blank, is rare. It's not just a flawed dime. It's a dime that was never supposed to exist at all. Think about that. It's the result of a 1 in a million mistake, a mechanical fluke, and a total breakdown in minting quality control. And yet, that dime found its way out of the factory, into the banking system, and eventually into someone's hand. Now here's the kicker: this coin didn't just become a curiosity. It became a certified treasure. When it was finally discovered and submitted to grading experts, the specialists quickly realized it was something extraordinary. The coin was authenticated, preserved, and documented as a genuine US Roosevelt dime struck on a foreign planchet, one of the few known examples of its kind. Collectors began to take notice. Not just because of the error, but because of how cleanly it was struck, how intact the details were, and how rare this type of mistake is in modern coinage. And as the buzz grew in the collector community, so did its market value. Today, that humble-looking 2004 P. Roosevelt dime, thanks to its rare error and immaculate preservation, holds a coin value of $49,000. It's the kind of coin story that feels unreal until it happens to someone. And the most incredible part? That exact kind of error coin could still be out there. It could be sitting in someone's drawer, lying unnoticed at the bottom of a change jar, or waiting in a roll of coins picked up from a local bank. So here's what you should look for. If you come across a 2004 P. Roosevelt dime, pay attention to the details. First, check the weight if you can. A proper US dime weighs about 2.27 grams. If it feels significantly lighter or heavier, that's a clue. Listen to the sound when it drops. Does it have the same ring as other dimes? Is the edge properly reeded? Does the metal look a little off in color? Even if it looks fine at first glance, those small differences could point to a big mistake. And that mistake could point to big money. Now, you don't need expensive equipment to make a preliminary check. A scale, a magnifying glass, and a good light source can take you a long way. And if you think you might have something unusual, always get it authenticated by a reputable grading company. Because once verified, a coin like this could easily become the centerpiece of your collection. So the next time you're handed some change, or you find an old dime rattling around in the glove box, pause before spending it. Look at the date. Look for that P mint mark. Take a moment to study it. Because that one little dime, small, quiet, overlooked, could be hiding a mistake worth thousands. Now we've arrived at the final coin in today's video, and it's not just another interesting piece. This one is on another level entirely. It's not rare because of a mint error. It wasn't struck on the wrong planchet. It doesn't feature any visible doubling or bizarre design flaw. No. This coin earned its place at the top of today's list for one reason, and one reason only: perfection. The coin. The 1991 D. Roosevelt dime, a piece so common, so ordinary on the surface, that most people wouldn't even think twice about it. You've likely seen one before. Probably dozens. The familiar face of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the D. mint mark for Denver just to the right of the date, and that classic reverse showing the torch flanked by olive and oak branches. A design that hasn't changed in decades, small, simple, and easy to overlook. Millions of these dimes were minted in 1991. They flowed through banks, stores, pockets, cash registers, and vending machines, used and reused, worn down over time like all modern coins. Most were scratched, dulled, or nicked within days of leaving the mint. But one coin, one singular example, survived in a condition so pristine, so untouched, that it left even professional graders stunned. This dime wasn't just nice. It wasn't just uncirculated. It was something far more exceptional. Imagine a coin with no bag marks, no haze, no dulling of the fields. Razor-sharp details on Roosevelt's hair and jawline. A reverse torch with full strike definition, every flame, every line, every contour exactly as intended. And all of it wrapped in original mint luster that reflects light like a mirror. This coin was the definition of flawless. And here's the thing, this didn't happen by accident. Most coins don't make it out of the mint unscathed. They're dropped into bins, moved in bulk, packaged by weight, and shipped off to banks. Even coins that never make it into circulation often show tiny flaws from that process alone. But somehow, this one was spared. Maybe it was pulled aside by someone at the mint who noticed its quality. Maybe it was tucked away immediately after release and stored with care. However it happened, this dime made it through the last 3 decades without losing a single point of sharpness, shine, or shape. When it was eventually submitted for grading, the experts didn't just give it a high score, they gave it a top score. Not just high for a 1991 D dime, but the highest known at the time of grading. That instantly made this coin a population rarity, meaning it wasn't rare because of low mintage, but because no other coin from that year and mint had ever been seen in that level of condition, and in the world of serious collecting, that matters a lot. You see, registry set collectors, the people who try to build the finest known sets of coins by year and mint, are always chasing top pop coins. That's what this dime became, the best of the best. One of a kind in its condition, and absolutely necessary for anyone trying to build a record-breaking modern Roosevelt dime collection. Now let's step back for a second and think about how wild this really is. We're talking about a coin that thousands of people probably handled in other grades. A coin that could have just as easily been used to buy gum or dropped on a sidewalk. And yet, here it is, standing alone, untouched, unmatched. It doesn't scream value. It doesn't look unusual. But it is, without question, one of the most valuable Roosevelt dimes ever discovered, all because it was perfectly preserved in a world where almost nothing stays perfect, and that's really the lesson here. When most people think of rare coins, they think of dramatic errors, double strikes, missing designs. And yes, those can be incredibly valuable. But what often gets overlooked is the power of condition. The idea that a completely normal coin, minted in huge numbers, can become a superstar simply because it looks exactly the way it did the moment it left the die. Those coins are exceedingly rare. And they are deeply desired. This 1991 D. Roosevelt dime was one of them. And when it went up for evaluation, collectors didn't hesitate. They knew exactly what they were looking at, and they knew they wouldn't see another like it any time soon. So now, the part you've been waiting for. After years in the shadows, this humble little dime was officially valued at a staggering $65,000. Yes, that's what one 10-cent piece became, simply because it was the best preserved example of its kind. No error. No drama. Just perfection. And with that, we close out today's list of hidden treasures, 3 coins that prove value doesn't always shout. Sometimes, it whispers. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight. So whether you're searching rolls from the bank, emptying your pockets at the end of the day, or just curious about what might be hiding in that old change jar, never stop checking. Because one coin, just one, could change everything. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video and want more content on rare coins, valuable finds, and tips on what to look for, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss the next episode. Until then, happy collecting, and we'll see you in the next one.